Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've ever wondered whether younger women are genuinely interested in older men, or if your age is somehow a disadvantage in dating, you're not alone. Many men in their 30s, 40s and beyond assume that younger women automatically prefer guys their age. But what if I told you that this belief is holding you back? In reality, many younger women are naturally drawn to older men, not despite their age, but because of it. Younger men often lack confidence, life experience, and a sense of direction, making older men incredibly appealing. The key is understanding how to present yourself in the best possible way, not by trying to act younger, but by embracing the strengths that come with maturity. In today's video, we'll be breaking down the psychological reasons why younger women are often attracted to older men, along with 6 proven techniques to help you naturally build attraction and connection. Whether you want to improve your dating life or understand these dynamics better, this video contains insights you won't want to miss. So stick around until the end, take notes, and let's dive in. Many men underestimate the power of age when it comes to attraction. They assume that younger women are only drawn to youthful energy, overlooking the reality that maturity, confidence, and stability can be far more compelling. While younger men may rely on physical appearance and social status, older men often possess qualities that tap into a deeper level of attraction, one rooted in psychology rather than superficial charm. Scientific studies suggest that younger women naturally gravitate toward older men who exhibit strength, assertiveness, and self-assuredness. Unlike their younger counterparts, these men have lived through experiences that have refined their character, making them more composed, emotionally grounded, and decisive. Confidence is not just about appearance. It is a silent force communicating leadership, security, and competence. A man who knows his worth does not seek validation. He moves through life with purpose, and that certainty is undeniably attractive. Another key factor is assertiveness. Younger women often find themselves drawn to men who take action rather than hesitate. Making decisions without self-doubt signals maturity and leadership, qualities that foster respect and admiration. In contrast, many younger men falter in their interactions, afraid of making mistakes or seeking approval. This indecisiveness diminishes attraction, while an older man's directness sets him apart as someone who knows what he wants and is not afraid to pursue it. Stability is another defining trait. Life experience equips older men with a sense of control over their circumstances. Their financial situation is often more secure, their lifestyle more structured, and their emotional responses more balanced. They do not react impulsively, nor do trivial dramas sway them. This level of composure makes them a source of reassurance for younger women who seek a partner capable of offering passion and dependability. Beyond logic and practicality, there is a psychological allure at play. Younger women often idealize older men as figures of strength and guidance. The image of a seasoned, self-possessed man triggers a subconscious fascination. The idea that he holds knowledge, wisdom, and an ability to navigate life with clarity. If an older man embodies these traits and radiates confidence, his appeal extends far beyond age. He becomes not just desirable but unforgettable. So, how can an older man maximize his attractiveness? Here are 6 proven methods for attracting younger women to help you make a strong impression and maintain your appeal long term. 1. Strong eye contact. For a man who has lived through decades of experience, eye contact is not just a simple gesture but a statement of confidence, control, and presence. When a man maintains steady eye contact, he signals to a woman that he is comfortable in his skin, unshaken by external pressures, and fully engaged in the moment. Women are deeply attuned to this kind of nonverbal communication regardless of age. A man who can hold her gaze for a few seconds longer than most immediately sets himself apart. Eye contact triggers an instinctive reaction. It creates an unspoken tension, a subtle yet powerful pull that can make a woman feel both intrigued and excited. When a man locks eyes with a woman and holds that gaze, not aggressively, but with quiet confidence, he establishes an aura of certainty and strength. It is a silent demonstration of his ability to lead, to remain composed, and to command attention without saying a word. Most younger men avoid eye contact out of nervousness or overdo it to assert dominance. An older man, however, understands the nuance. His gaze is steady, controlled, and intentional. He does not break eye contact too soon or hold it so long that it becomes intimidating. Instead, he pairs it with a slight, knowing smile, a look that conveys both warmth and certainty, making a woman feel drawn in rather than put on edge. This ability to connect through eye contact alone is why women often find older men compelling. It is not about superficial charm or rehearsed lines, but about presence. A man who knows himself does not need to prove anything. His eyes already say enough. 2. Giving playful nicknames. A younger woman's attraction to an older man is often built on more than just experience and confidence. It thrives on the unique energy he brings to the dynamic. One simplest yet most powerful ways to create a playful, engaging connection is through nicknames. When done right, a nickname can instantly make interactions more personal, add an element of fun, and set you apart from the rest. Nicknames work because they create a private world between the two of you. A name only you call her establishes an intimate bond, giving her a sense of being unique in your eyes. It also injects an element of flirtation. When a woman hears a playful nickname, it triggers emotions that make the interaction feel light-hearted and effortless. Younger women respond well to teasing dynamics that challenge them in a way that feels fun rather than predictable. The key to choosing the proper nickname lies in observation. It should be based on something unique about her personality, habits, or even a tiny moment between you. If she constantly challenges you with witty remarks, calling her troublemaker, playfully acknowledges her boldness while keeping the interaction light. If she carries herself elegantly, princess adds a teasing but endearing touch. The nickname should feel organic, not forced. Something that fits naturally into the rhythm of your conversation. However, the real power of a nickname isn't in using it constantly but strategically. Overuse can dull its charm, making it feel routine rather than exceptional. Instead, letting it slip into conversation at just the right moments after a playful exchange or when she least expects it, keeps the intrigue alive. It becomes a subtle reminder of your unique dynamic, reinforcing her attraction in ways she may not even consciously realize. Attraction isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes the most minor, effortless actions, like giving her a nickname that makes her smile, leave the most profound impact. 3. Playful judgments. When engaging with younger women, many older men fall into the trap of trying too hard to impress. They emphasize their achievements, wealth, or life experiences, hoping to validate themselves in her eyes. But true confidence is never about proving one's worth. It's about owning it effortlessly. A genuinely secure man does not seek approval. Instead, he plays with the dynamic, adding a sense of challenge that intrigues her. Rather than trying to win her over with excessive compliments or material displays, a confident older man knows that playful teasing creates far more attraction. When a woman mentions her love for expensive coffee, he smirks instead of nodding and says, "Ah, So you're one of those fancy latte princesses, huh? It's light-hearted, teasing, and delivered with a knowing smile, never with malice. This approach signals that he is not intimidated by her youth or beauty. It subtly tells her he is different, while she may be used to men fawning over her. He does not chase. He does not pedestalize. Instead, he invites her into an interaction filled with playful tension, making her work just a little for his validation. And that is precisely what makes him compelling. Women are drawn to men who exude high value without needing to broadcast it. When an older man interacts easily, unshaken by age differences, and maintains an air of mystery, he becomes someone she wants to figure out. He doesn't need to prove his interest. He simply is. And that confidence, wrapped in a touch of humor, makes her lean in, eager for more. A younger woman is constantly surrounded by men who try too hard. They flood her with attention, overpraise her, and tiptoe around her opinions. But an older man who playfully challenges her, unbothered by her reactions and comfortable in his skin, stands out in a way she can't ignore. He is like an unsolved puzzle, someone who doesn't fit the mold of the men she's used to dealing with. This is the dynamic that keeps her engaged. She is drawn in if he remains composed, self-assured, and playfully indifferent to seeking her approval. Not because he is trying to manipulate her, but because he carries himself with the kind of presence that is rare in most men. And in a world where so many chases, the man who simply enjoys the game, without feeling the need to win, becomes the one she can't stop thinking about. 4. Small disagreements. One of the most overlooked aspects of attraction is the dynamic created by minor, playful disagreements. Many men, particularly those older and more experienced in relationships, assume that the best way to connect with a woman is through agreement, nodding to her opinions, validating every statement, and avoiding conflict. While this may seem like a way to build harmony, it often has the opposite effect. Women are drawn to men who possess strong opinions and are confident in expressing them. An overly agreeable man risks appearing predictable, uninspiring, or weak. A woman wants to feel a sense of intrigue, challenge, and discovery in her interactions. If a man simply mirrors her thoughts and preferences without adding any contrast, the excitement of engagement diminishes. A subtle disagreement creates an interesting push and pull when delivered with confidence and playfulness. It signals that a man is not desperate for approval, values his perspective, and can stand his ground without being combative. For example, if she expresses a love for romantic comedies, instead of nodding in passive agreement, a confident response might be, "I don't know, I find them kind of predictable, but I'll give you one shot to prove me wrong." This approach maintains a light-hearted tone while subtly challenging her to engage. The key is to balance disagreement with warmth. It's not about arguing for the sake of argument, but rather about demonstrating independence of thought. Women respect men who have their minds and are comfortable expressing differing views without becoming defensive or aggressive. This interaction keeps conversations engaging, creates emotional contrast, and makes the connection feel more dynamic and alive. A man who understands this principle doesn't need to overcompensate with grand gestures or constant validation. Instead, his ability to maintain his stance while remaining open and engaging naturally builds attraction. By embracing minor disagreements, he fosters a deeper, more stimulating connection, one where both individuals feel seen, heard, and genuinely intrigued by each other. 5. Physical touch. Many older men hesitate regarding physical touch, fearing it may be inappropriate or unwelcome. Years of social conditioning, personal experiences, and a general misunderstanding of modern dating dynamics often make them overly cautious. As a result, many avoid touch altogether, missing out on one of the most potent connection tools. When executed naturally and confidently, touch can establish trust, deepen attraction, and create an emotional bond in ways that words alone cannot achieve. Scientific research has consistently shown that human touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which fosters feelings of closeness and security. It lowers stress, enhances comfort, and strengthens relationships by making interactions feel more personal and intimate. Physical touch is an unspoken signal of confidence, stability, and masculine energy for women, especially those attracted to older men. It conveys emotional security and a sense of groundedness, reinforcing a woman's attraction on a subconscious level. However, the key to practical physical touch is subtlety. A man does not need grand, overt gestures to make an impact. Instead, small intentional touches in the right moments create the most substantial effect. A light touch on her arm when sharing a joke, a reassuring pat on her shoulder during a meaningful conversation, or a brief but firm handshake that lingers just a second longer than expected, creates warmth, familiarity, and connection. A man who understands the power of such gestures can draw a woman to him without excessive verbal persuasion. Women are highly perceptive to the energy behind a man's touch. They will sense it immediately and may feel uncomfortable if it is hesitant, stiff, or overly rehearsed. But when delivered with authenticity, natural flow, and quiet confidence, it signals control, presence, and an understanding of social dynamics. A man who masters this subtle form of connection becomes infinitely more attractive, not just because of how he looks or says, but because of how he makes a woman feel. It is also essential to recognize that physical touch should always be attuned to the woman's comfort level. Confidence does not mean ignoring boundaries. It means understanding how to gauge a situation and respond accordingly. Some women may be more receptive to physical touch than others, and the ability to read body language, notice her reactions, and adjust accordingly separates a skilled man from an overly aggressive one. Physical touch is a silent yet powerful language communicating leadership, emotional intelligence, and strength. It can turn a conversation into an experience, transforming a simple interaction into something memorable. A man who can use touch effectively will always have an advantage in building more profound, meaningful connections with women. 6. Leading the conversation. A man who leads the conversation naturally captures a woman's attention. His ability to guide the interaction exudes confidence, control, and an unspoken authority that draws her in. Women respond instinctively to this presence, allowing them to relax into their feminine energy rather than feeling pressured to direct the exchange flow. When a man takes the lead, he creates an engaging, effortless, yet profoundly compelling dynamic. Older men in particular have an advantage in this area. Their life experience, depth of knowledge, and ability to tell compelling stories give them a natural edge in conversation. Unlike younger men who may rely on surface-level charm, an older man can create genuine intrigue by sharing insights, asking thought-provoking questions, and weaving humor seamlessly into his storytelling. A well-led conversation is not about dominating the dialogue, but making it feel organic and engaging. Women are naturally drawn to men who make them feel something: curiosity, amusement, admiration. A man who asks questions that spark emotion, such as, "What's the most exciting risk you've ever taken?" Or, "If you could relive one day in your life, which would it be?" invites her into a world of reflection and excitement. These are not just empty questions, but windows into deeper conversations. They encourage her to step out of autopilot responses and instead engage on a more personal level. When a woman feels emotionally stimulated in a conversation, she connects with the man on a level beyond logic. She feels drawn to him in a way that defies explanation. But leading a conversation is about what is said and how it is delivered. A man who speaks with controlled confidence, who is comfortable with pauses rather than rushing to fill them, who knows when to use humor and when to add depth, creates an interaction that is not only engaging but also magnetic. Women pick up on energy more than words. A man who speaks with purpose and ease communicates certainty, and certainty is attractive. One of the men's biggest mistakes is trying too hard to impress. They overcompensate by talking too much about themselves, listing achievements or steering the conversation toward things they think will impress her. However, the most compelling men guide the interaction without making it feel forced. They understand that mystery is more potent than over-explanation. Instead of stating everything outright, they allow curiosity to build. A simple, "That's an interesting story. I have one that's even crazier, but I'm not sure you're ready for it yet," creates anticipation. Now she wants to hear more. Now she's engaged on a different level. A well-led conversation is also about reading the moment, knowing when to lean in, when to pull back, when to shift topics, and when to challenge her playfully keeps the energy dynamic. If she's used to men agreeing with everything she says, then a subtle challenge, "I'm not sure I agree with that, but convince me," makes her lean in and invest in the conversation. She's no longer passively listening, she's now an active participant, eager to keep the momentum going. His ability to create rhythm separates a man who merely converses from one who captivates. He avoids the predictable back and forth of small talk. Instead, he moves purposefully, seamlessly shifting between personal anecdotes and meaningful questions, keeping the momentum alive. Awkward silences never linger. Instead, there is a natural flow, a sense that she is being led through an exciting and memorable interaction. A man who masters this skill never struggles to hold a woman's interest. He doesn't rely on flashy gestures or forced charm. His presence alone does the work. By leading conversations with confidence, depth, and a touch of intrigue, he sets himself apart rarely and irresistibly. Women don't just remember a conversation like this, they feel it. And once she feels something she can't quite say, she will want to experience it again. The idea that age is a disadvantage in dating is a misconception. It can be one of your greatest strengths if you understand how to leverage it. Younger women are not simply looking for someone who shares their age or interests. They are drawn to confidence, leadership, emotional stability, and a strong sense of self. These qualities naturally develop with experience, making older men uniquely positioned to be both attractive and desirable. The key takeaway is that attraction is not about proving yourself to someone. It's about embodying the traits that create genuine intrigue and connection. The 6 techniques discussed in this video: intense eye contact, playful teasing, light disagreement, physical touch, conversational leadership, and assertiveness, are all rooted in one fundamental principle: being a man who is secure in his identity. When you stop trying to seek approval and instead focus on leading interactions with confidence and authenticity, you naturally become the type of man younger women gravitate toward. However, it's also important to remember that attraction is only one piece of the puzzle. A strong relationship, regardless of age difference, is built on mutual respect, emotional maturity, and shared values. While these techniques can spark attraction, your long-term success in dating will ultimately depend on your ability to cultivate a fulfilling and purposeful life. The more you focus on self-improvement, physically, mentally, and emotionally, the more naturally magnetic you become. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever noticed these dynamics in your own dating experiences? What strategies have worked for you? Do you have any insights or personal stories to share? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Stay confident, stay focused, and keep leveling up. See you in the next one.